Welcome back to County Gains News Network. Today we have another propaganda video put up on Newstalk Radio. This is immigration lawyer Kyle Malone debunking misconceptions around seeking asylum in Europe and explains the asylum bill procedures, okay? Now obviously this guy's a guy on the left, a liberal, woke, Marxist, DEI compliant man. You can tell by the Poindexter attire and the glasses, okay? This guy is exactly how you'd imagine him, a feminine man. And in my personal opinion, guys, in terms of security for a country and immigration and really, hard things at the border, dangerous laws that could, dangerous crimes that could happen, we need masculine people in charge. Instead, we have these Poindexters, these nerds, okay, in charge of the really serious processes in this country, and it's a disgrace. So he's obviously going to be defending people coming in, washing the country, which is really, really bad, and we have seen it to be so horrendous the last few years, namely because nobody does anything when they come to the country. They're just living off the state or else committing crimes, because that's what happens when you don't have any money and you're just living off the state. So this one's going to be abysmal. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let's hear what he has to say.
Here, the minister has been talking some big talk recently about how he is making all of these, what he would call improvements to the process, and how he's going to speed everything up. He's got very little to do with it. I mean, these are consequential amendments that we have to make in order to bring us in line with what all of Europe is going to be doing from June 2026.
So again, they're talking about right off the bat what the EU and what the rest of Europe is doing and how we have to fall in line with the rest of Europe. Well, I say no more, guys. I think we should leave Europe. Okay, obviously not in the traditional sense. We're an island. We're only not even part of Europe mainland. But I mean in the way of being part of the EU, guys, and listening to all these conditions and laws that they have for us. I find it a disgrace that we have to listen to everything they say.
The content of that, obviously, Nick there mentioned what's called the border procedure. So essentially, there are two main tracks down which they're going to send asylum seekers under this new pact. The standard procedure, which definitely shouldn't be called that because almost nobody's going to be sent down it, or the border procedure. So certain categories of people don't get sent down the standard track. If you're from a safe country, so called by the department, if you're from a country which has a lower than 20% grant rate of asylum applications across Europe, and most importantly, if you show up without the correct documents in Ireland or in any country in Europe. In any of those cases, you're in the border procedure, and this is the 12 weeks to get a decision, possibility of detention. Essentially, a lot of your rights are stripped away. But your listeners have to remember is almost everybody shows up without the correct documents, because you can't apply for a visa to come to Ireland to claim asylum.
It's a bit more than that now, isn't it?
A bit more than what?
Well, not having. I mean, there's people who turn up without their passport. They manage to get on the plane, and then they get to Dublin. They don't have a passport.
Yeah, it's complete disgraceful. They wash their passports down the toilet and they claim asylum. I think, how the hell did you get on the plane without a passport? This is a complete disgrace, guys. This is taking the piss out of the asylum system.
I'm pro-immigration. I think Ireland...
Of course, Newstalk are pro-immigration. They just want to flood the streets with random people. And like I said, we can have that discussion about different people coming over for work and stuff like that, guys. Everyone, my family did that to a certain extent. Okay, my dad's Irish, but it's like, we came back at 5 years old to work and stuff. But most people come here, a lot of people, and they just sit by the GPO and they just drink coffee and just do nothing all day. I mean, that has to stop, guys.
It absolutely needs to have do its bit and share its responsibility. But it's very hard to make the argument when people say, there's lots of people turning up without the correct documents. And look, they're desperate people in many cases, but they know what they're doing when they don't have those documents.
Yeah, I mean, we can have that debate whether or not they're desperate. A lot of people know that they're fleeing war sometimes, okay? But that's the thing, guys. Unfortunately, we can't have feminine men run countries because, you can't save the world, guys. Little old Ireland cannot save the world by bringing in millions of people to its country to help them. That's not how it works. You have to go to these countries, go to Mali, go to desperate parts of China, go to these poor parts of Korea, go to these poor parts of, Asia and Southeast Asia, and actually help them fund their country, build the infrastructure, build their economy. We can't just keep bringing people here and trying to make it better. That's not actually how it works, and that's not actually how to solve poverty in countries and in the world, okay? But you have these feminine men now, bring everyone over. They haven't got a clue, guys, you know. And people tell me, Chris, be empathetic. I'm the most empathetic guy there is, guys, but, you know, we have to be logical when it comes to serious things like this, you know.
Well, okay, if you put the challenge down, let me make the argument perhaps. If you are a woman fleeing the Taliban in Afghanistan, you literally cannot get issued a passport because they will not give a woman a passport to leave the country. If you're in Somalia, it doesn't have a functioning government. It's often impossible to get a proper passport. And even if you're from a country where you can get a passport, there's no such thing in Europe as an asylum visa. So if you are fleeing an awful situation back home, you literally cannot have the correct documents when you arrive here.
Okay.
Unless you...
Well, if you don't have the correct documents to get here, how did you get on a plane to get here from Somalia, from Afghanistan, which a lot of people have? You know, this is a complete scam, guys. This is a scam system set up by the UN, by the EU. And, you know, tough luck, guys. You know, if you can't, unfortunately, that's just the way the shit is, guys. You know, if you can't get a proper passport, you're not coming in. I don't know, but these guys don't get it through their goddamn head, man. It's like, if you don't have a background check about you, like if you can't do a background check about you, then that's it, guys. You know, you're not allowed to come into the country, man. Everyone has to have a background check and ID to know who the hell this person is.
Look, I don't want to be, I don't want to be making the argument for anti-immigration, but I suppose the obvious counter argument to that is if you're coming from Somalia or the Taliban, you're not getting a direct flight to Dublin. You have come from somewhere else first.
Right.
Absolutely, but there's a misconception here that under the Dublin regulation that you're obliged to claim asylum in the first safe country you get to. That is simply not legally the case, number one. And number two, if we talk about, because as you just mentioned, Ireland doing its fair share, if you think about it, there's essentially not a direct flight to Ireland from any country which might produce refugees. So the logic of the argument, which I'm not saying you're making, but in fairness, you're putting forward the counter argument. The logic of that argument is that we should have no refugees in Ireland. Because if you think about it, no Syrian, no Afghan, no Eritrean, no Sudanese person, etc., could get here directly, which would mean that countries that happened to have a direct link to a country that produces real refugees would have all of them, and we would have none of them, and that can't be fair either.
Well, I mean, it's a good argument, but he said that means Ireland should have no refugees. I mean, guys, I was talking to a barber in Dunleary. I think he was Moroccan or he was Middle Eastern, I think. I think he might have been from Sudan or whatever. But he was saying 20 years ago, there were no refugees. Like, this is kind of like this made up thing where people are like, oh, everyone's fleeing war now, and it's like, very, very few people are fleeing war from their country, guys. Like, very, very few. And especially coming to Ireland, of all countries that they could go to, Germany, you know, that these are countries that actually make you wealthy. Ireland doesn't have this sort of land of opportunity wealth like the US and maybe even England and Germany has. So I find it completely just, I kind of find it like a bit of a cop-out, you know, okay? So that video, again, is BS. So the next video is just as bad, guys. We have Mattie McGrath speaking about the taxpayer money that's being spent on these IPAS centres in the Dáil. Okay, so it was discovered recently by a few different people up in Dublin that they've spent 4.3 billion euro in taxpayer money on these IPAS centres. Okay, so they're housing 40,000, 50,000 people. I would say the number is upwards of 400,000 people, you know, if you include all the war-torn countries as well. And we're not housing our own people. So the Irish people do not come first in their own country. It's completely ludicrous, guys. If you have a passport in your own country, like they do in the UAE, they put their citizens first. They put everyone that's a citizen of your country first, not other people from elsewhere, guys, because that's not how you run a country, plain and simple. So we're about to hear this one, guys. Let's get it.
Minister. The minister left this chamber 20 minutes ago, Minister Norma Foley, who's responsible for this. She fled, but she can't hide from the people. It's disgusting to treat elected representatives like this. If she wasn't here, I'd say something, but she was here all evening in this chamber. The contract has some very serious questions in this hotel, in Dundrum House Hotel. Extremely concerned about the lack of transparency in relation to the matter. We need to know how such a contract has been awarded to Ultansa Limited. a newly formed private company incorporated in Spain last January. The company lists a single director, Ms. Ana Maria Fernandez Sanchez, with a declared income of €120. This contract for 20 million of taxpayers' money, signed in such a fashion. The Taoiseach stood there, Deputy Minister Taoiseach Harris, and told me some months ago that this was all paused and would be paused. I've been running after Minister O'Callaghan, who will have responsibility for this on May Day. May Day is 2 days' time. And Minister Foley has it now, she wouldn't deal with it. Somebody signed this contract with a shady, dodgy company who are before the courts, 3 cases in the courts this week across the river here. 3 cases with the receivers, with the funders for the company, and indeed with the Dundrum Heritage Company. I salute.
Very well said, Mattie McGrath, because, you know, he's talking about Merryman Hotel in Kinvara, which is, you know, close to where I live at. And it's just wild. And Dundrum, of course, hotel. And he said 20 million contract. I mean, these people are getting massive money, and they're doing this human trafficking for the UN only because they're getting massive amounts of money. We all know it now. Every Irish citizen should know that the only reason that the people are left homeless and a lot of people don't have jobs, etc., is because the government are getting paid massive amounts of money by the UN, the EU, to bring in and house people in these centers. Massive money, like I said, to the tune of 4.3 million, guys. I mean, or billion. It's absolutely ludicrous, guys. 4.3 billion is like, you can fund a whole country, you know what I mean?
Dundina or Dundroma in Tipperdown, decent people. But the blackguarding's gone on here. This is taxpayers' money. Yeah. 20 million contract, 20 million in taxpayers' money with a company, a paper company. That's
like not. If you're paying 20 million in taxpayers' money to anywhere, you should be having a vote on that. That seems like a ludicrous amount of money to just spend, you know, freely.
We know it is the same owners who have it, and the people who have been dealing in blackguarding and not interested in the well-being of IPAS people, interested in the greasy pockets. And I'm shocked.
And that's another thing we talk about, you know, you feel sorry for the IPAS people. Nobody gives a shit about these people. They're coming over here, they're maybe getting paid €40 a week now because the government has ran out of money, so they're not even treated well when they come here. It's like having your cousin over, saying, come on over, and there's no bed to sleep on, there's no food. That's what it's like, basically. It's ridiculous. But they're paying you. You know, it's just crazy.
Government here thinking, wash their hands like Pontius Pilate. I know we're after Easter. That's what it is for Minister Foley. To evade this question, Minister O'Callaghan said he hasn't got it. You're here tonight, Minister. No disrespect to you. You'll probably read out an answer. But the public need answers about taxpayers' money. Oh, yeah. Enormous amounts of it going into companies that have no track record and have been, as I said, are before the courts. And the Department of Integration were made clearly aware of this. And I think they signed this for 277 applicants, which put into a village of 200 people, is simply Goobo territory. That's grotesque, unbelievable, bizarre and unprecedented. It's shocking.
Department officials as appropriate, Gormagot.
Minister, I'm extremely disappointed with the reply that you read out. I want the Taoiseach Tánaiste, the Minister for Justice and Minister Foley to halt this contract, to pause it and withdraw it, because the companies involved, you get me gobbledygook there, it's not legal to pay tens of millions or 20 million euro to a company that hasn't filed taxes and that are not compliant with the Companies Act. Both Brogan Capital Ventures and Utanza are subsidiaries of Steelworks Investments Limited. And that holding a company last filed accounts at the company's registration office in 2017. In the name of God, you have collective cabinet responsibility.
In the name of God, I love the way this guy talks. This is like just old Irish. I love it. And, you know, a lot of people say he speaks fast and stuff. Well, he's a better speaker than Gary Gannon. Gary Gannon, I can't understand a word he's saying. At least with Mattie McGrath, I can understand everything he's saying. Man's a legend. In the name of God, you're putting in flipping holding companies that, what is it saying, that don't even file registration at the office. I mean, this is crazy. The money is just going, we don't even know where the money's going, guys. There has to be a sort of a Doge, Department of Government Efficiency in Ireland. Absolutely. Crazy stuff. Ludicrous.
Responsibility in cabinet here, under the Constitution, to serve the people of Ireland, not to be trading with these cabal outfits that have no trust, and the people are incensed in Dundrum and Tipperary and all over the country. And you continue with this failed policy and make greedy people richer and fat cats fatter in the name of looking after people. When they have no interest in looking after people, they have interest in one thing: their pockets and
100%,
money. And it's disgusting to think this.
100%.
It's been signed. I want it withdrawn, and I want a full investigation. I refer this to PAC, and I hope you'll support me with that as well. It's a shocking vista, and it's not acceptable.
Yeah, I love it, guys. I love it. A full investigation is what's needed. And he said it himself. You guys saw it, man. He said they don't care about anything except they're lining their pockets with lots of money and being greedy. You know, that's something that the Liberals and left would agree on with the right. You know, these people don't care about the people coming in. They just care about making money. It's bullshit, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Like, comment, subscribe. I just had to share those 2 videos with you about the sort of immigration sector going on in the news lately because, of course, it's a disgrace to see what's happening. But like, comment, subscribe. If you want to help support me, hit the join link underneath the video. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.